Greetings, visionaries. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. And the topic of today's broadcast is going to be pretty broad. I think we'll just call it despair. But there's a lot that I want to talk to you about. We've got 10 minutes to do it, so let's get going. You've got the NI. You can feel it, you know. Things are coming to some kind of head in the world. Everyone's getting squeezed. That's the way I keep putting it. Everyone's getting squeezed. Even the fat controllers, they're worried too. They're desperate to try and keep what they've got. Of course, everybody's interested in keeping what they've got. That's, about the most human thing that there is. But we're definitely on the cusp of a change, and a lot of that might be, I can just give you my ideas. One is this, the money system that is currently in use in most of the world is, it's a credit-based system, and it's all about debt. And the problem with the debt is the debt becomes crushing, and all the negative outcomes end up working their way through everyone's lives. And that's one of the reasons why you younger generations have a lot more trouble prospering, and the older generations, if you were lucky, maybe you got a house and you're holding on to it, and maybe you're dipping in your equity, or who knows what you're doing. But I just saw a video today, about old people being homeless, right, and poor. Now, before we get too fearful or anything, I think I should say that I think good times are coming for humanity. But if you look at history, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be a painless transition. I don't exactly know how it's going to go down. But we have to move into a different place as humans, our human society. There's so many factors bearing on us, and one, of course, is the economic factor. And this is not an economic channel, and I am no expert in economics, but I do think that our NI gives us quite a few unique abilities in this regard because of our ability to recognize patterns and make connections. And I believe that's what economic forecasting is really all about. Sorry, I had to scratch my ear. The thing is, like, if you look at what happened with the crash in 2008, they had to throw everything at that to keep the actual, depression from happening. And even then, nothing was getting really all that good until maybe 10 years later. And even that was quite tenuous. And when the pandemic hit, all of the things, they pulled out all the stops to try and keep things going. And they had to spend so much capital just to get the world back to some kind of normal. And I think I should say that human beings, left to our own devices, we find ways to prosper, we find ways to cope, we find ways to adapt. I think that we are the most adaptable species on the planet. And sometimes, what do they call it? The cope. Sometimes the cope is so great you don't even know that you're coping. And I'm not so much talking about that, because what I'm talking about is the pressing, the squeezing that I feel with my NI, and maybe you do too. And hopefully my assistant will help us come up with a great title so that this message will get to you, because if you do, I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. I don't have any answers. I was watching a video just today, outlining all the problems and all of the causes for the problems, and then he got to the solution, and his solution was, get your hands on more assets. But what if you're a person that doesn't have any capital? If you don't have capital, how are you going to get assets? You know what I mean? So yeah, we're going to be hitting halfway point here, and I'm going to focus, I think, on the second half of this video of some of my ideas of what we can do. We'll see. The thing is with NI is so often the the intuitions are of the negative bent more so than the positive. Yes, we can see potentialities, and yes, we can make positive connections. I'm not saying that, but a lot of times I believe it's an antenna designed to keep us out of trouble. So the main thing that you can do is to adopt a mindset of less wanting in your life. And this is valuable regardless of perhaps next year we'll have the biggest boom times the world's ever known. It's not looking or seeming that way to me, but regardless, if you reduce your desire level to whatever is appropriate for your circumstances, you will enjoy more peace. If you are grasping, if you are wanting, actively desiring, this particular climate is going to make, and I'm speaking from experience, I've got plans, I've got things I'm trying to do, and from the standpoint of my personal business, this has been a very tough season for me. It's my off season, but it's got to be maybe the toughest off season I've ever seen. And I put that down to just people having less. But we're going to get back into the positive side of the equation. So, you can go, well, geez, lowering my expectations, that doesn't sound very wonderful. No, it's probably not the what you want to hear. But if you cultivate an attitude of non-desire, non-grasping, okayness with what is in the current moment, then you'll get through these tough times. And when things open up, it's going to be pretty awesome, I think. Now, as I've told you before, your host, the visionary, he's not a young INFJ. He doesn't look ancient, but we're getting up there. We're officially getting to a place where we could be labeled as old, and that's fine. I don't really care. I'm, for my part, just happy to still be here, and like everyone else, I just want to keep on keeping on, as I'm sure you do. And I want plenty of things to happen, but most of what I want to happen is almost always about my art or my business, and my business is art. Making things better, doing a higher quality product. That's what I'm always interested in doing. That's what, if I had extra money, that's what I would spend it on. Not in, gilding my nest necessarily. Now, like every other INFJ, I do enjoy the physical comforts, and I've got my share. I'm not in a desperate place. But like you, I can see what's coming and what's actually currently going down. And so, is there any other potential solution? Well, maybe if you're one of these real canny types, you could find a way to capitalize on the coming economic and societal downturn. But I have to say that's generally a pretty clever type of more self-serving person. And in my experience, INFJs tend not to be all that self-serving. We're self-protective. We want people to back off, leave us alone, to do our thing. But we're not that desirous of controlling other people's lives. This is one of the reasons why I believe that guy that was in charge of Germany during World War II, I don't think he was no INFJ, personally. Because, I said this on the comments section of someone's video where they had a whole thing about it. And I'm like, what INFJ is going to sit there and say, yeah, I need to take over the world. I'm tired of this crap. We would make the plan. And if you get us together with the type that's actively interested in taking over the world, you let us whisper into their ear. That could be a very, very dangerous combination. And then again, there's the INFJ supervillain archetype as well, which might be a topic for another broadcast. Anyway, until I come back, I want you to keep on keeping on, INFJ.